Welcome to episode 107 of Drew's Sports Crew. Yes, it feels great to be back here on this Monday night. Myself, Drew Skyberg, back bringing you the news in the sports world. After, again, I had episodes out last week, but again, I was out on a study abroad trip for a week in Panama City. So I was in the international business. It was the theme. So glad to be back. And I'm glad to be here talking sports with you all today. So, thank you again, for all the guests who joined me last week. Really appreciate that. It was great to talk to again. Justin Brenner of the UWM Post previewed Brewers baseball last Monday's episode, and also Journey to Million. We got to thank Zoe, right? Zoe's joined Zach and I last week for Journey to Million, and then also Ryan Borkart we had on. We had a referee on who is WIAA licensed. Actually, he officiated the 3-point shootout. So we talked about, how that's been, and then overall just the shortage, right? The story of the shortage is what we called it. So good to discuss all of that with the guests. But back here to talk what we all love, sports, right? So this is an exciting week of sports, honestly. I had some all-state teams come out. It was like last week. I'll be shouting those athletes out to start, but really, Brewers starting up here. We got opening day rosters, basically. Home openers next Monday, week from now. We go to Chicago Thursday. We got opening day. So it's getting real. Bucks just won in Detroit. A short-handed Bucks squad wins in Detroit. So we'll talk about how they've been doing, and right. We're getting into the last and the home stretch here. After this week for Bucks basketball, April 9th is that last game that I've been mentioning. It's getting really, really close. Also, we had our fantasy baseball draft for, again, the Drew Sports Crew League last night. So I was in an airport doing it, but was happy to have it done. And I was cool. Thank you for everyone being there too. We had a full 10 out of 10 there for the draft. And then we're getting ready to announce some winners for March Madness coming up here. Hopefully next week I can officially bring you the winners. Otherwise, I'll probably be waiting until the championship game. So keep that in mind. But those are just my quick announcements here to start, other than recording, which I'll get to right away here. Tomorrow, I'll bring 2 episodes. So I'll actually be previewing the basketball slate tomorrow, right? Come on in the morning. Again, Point Brewery, shout them out. I'll be having a root beer in the morning. Talking, again, what the basketball slate's looking like. And then tomorrow night, 4:15, again, Zach Roush, Jared Vlusky, myself, Drew Skyberg will be back. Journey Million episode 70. So check that out tomorrow, 4:15 p.m. Central. And that's the schedule looking like. So let's get started here. We'll start with the all-state teams that we heard. I have the D3 teams pulled up. I looked at D4 and nobody made it, I believe, for either EWC. No EWC teams, but Jeremy Lorenz, of course, highlighted that D3 team. Some others we knew. All right, Lorenz from Brilliant. As we mentioned, congratulations to Jeremy on that. Also, Drew Doust of Southern Door was named All-State. Alex Sherwood of Xavier. So, some players you might recognize kind of from the area on that first team. Honorable mention then was Pierce Arns of Kiel. So congrats to Pierce on that. Some guys from a guy from Campbell's Sport, right? Mitch McCarty was another one. Otherwise, that was kind of the ones that were in the area for the most part. In D3 for boys, so congratulations to all of them. On the girls' side, we actually had some good amount of recognition. Megan Schumann, right? Or I have hers up here. For some reason, the girls one was outdated. Not sure if they have that updated yet. So, which I'm sure they do, but I had the one up. The most recent one that pulled up wasn't the most recent one. So we'll look on what's going on. But here here's the updated one. But I do okay. So I have for it. So that was last year's was Megan Schumann on the first team. She's also on the All-State first team, or why do I say All-State first team? They do it by All-State teams, so she was on the All-State team as well. So I have that on here, and again, brilliant 20-5. So congrats to Megan on that first team or All-State team there. Otherwise, for girls, I didn't have any other. I thought there's more on here, but there was looks like only Megan Schumann made it this year on that. So again, congratulations to again the state team members. I'll check D4 to see if I maybe missed someone when I was going through. They had someone from Michigan, some Laconia, right? Laconia had a dominant season. But looks like Megan Schumann represents Brilliant in the EWC on the state team. And again, they went 20-5. Brilliant, the boys went 29-1. I thought Cole Hovey should have made it for D4, so that was kind of what I was monitoring. Did he make it as honorable mention? So intrigued to see kind of how that happened, but there you go. Those are the state teams. Congratulations to all athletes who made it. But that kind of wraps up our basketball, right? I mean, wasn't able to give the full live recap, right? That Brilliant won state, but as again, I was on a plane, but congrats to them for a fantastic season. Definitely gotta shout them out. Bringing that title home, being West Salem, really, really, really good team. Bring back the state title. So congratulations to all the members of that team. But that wraps it up for high school sports. I mean, we're getting to the part now. It's spring sports. So wraps up on the basketball side. So again, thanks to wisports.net. And again, check out wisports.net for all of your Wisconsin sports needs. Go to wisports.net. Let's go right away here to the Milwaukee Bucks. So, this past week, prediction challenge, I had them losing in Denver. They lost in Denver. I end up getting every game right. They win in Toronto, or at home against Toronto. They win against San Antonio. They win at Utah. They put up 144 points in Utah, I should add. Bucks got to sit the fourth most of the game. And then Denver takes it to them in Denver, 129-106. Still, for me, says the Bucks game is alive. They did, in fact, win tonight. There we go. Got it in. 126-117 again. And Holiday and Giannis were out tonight. No problem, right? Middleton puts up 34. Jane Ivey of Detroit puts up 32. Good game for him out of Purdue. But otherwise, the story was, right? I mean, we talked about this depth being key. I mean, Javon Carter puts up 22 on an 8 for 15 efficient night. Lopez 8 for 11. Talk about that efficiency. 8 for 10 from the line. 14 rebounds for Lopez and Portis each. Really good night for the Bucks, honestly. Might have been playing a Pistons team that's not that good, but really, I mean, it's good to see, right? Wesley Matthews played 16. Conta played 18. Ingles played 20 minutes. So some good minutes. But yeah, I mean, mentioned Ivy was the top guy for Detroit tonight. He had 32, 8, and 8, so almost a triple-double there. But always Jalen Duren was 18 points, 8 for 11 off the bench. But with Milwaukee, again, moving to 54-21. Wow. So also Detroit's only 9-30 at home. They're 16-59. Those losses are adding up. Really tough for Detroit, but for Milwaukee, I mean, they keep cruising. The schedule is not, the back-to-back's tough later this week. When I say later this week, it's a Wednesday, Thursday back-to-back. And it's at Indiana to Boston. I like the Bucks against, even at Indiana. That game against Boston's going to be good. Really looking forward to how that one goes. I like the Bucks this week. I have them winning the whole week. Then they play Philly at home in a rematch on Sunday night. That's going to be a good one. And then after that, I mean, We go, yeah, Philly, Washington, Chicago, Memphis, Toronto. So not much left here. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, rest of the way out here. I'm all against standings. So if you want to check those out, right? I mean, the Bucks prediction challenge are like to map out kind of top 5 spots in the East. So we can tell you those top 4 spots already, they're not locked up, but those teams in those spots are locked in the playoffs. They have clinched it. Bucks again, top lead the way now, 54-21 they have for the last few weeks already. So it's looking really, really good. Again, Boston's in that 2 spot, 52-23. Philadelphia 49-25 in the 3 spot. Cleveland 48-28. So those are like the top 4 spots locked in. But then we have that drop off. You know, like the West doesn't have this kind of drop off that the East has, where from 4 to 5, it's a 5.5 game difference. So when we see that, it's, you know, really the teams that are it's 5 through 7, it's fighting to get out of the play-in. There's 3 teams. It's New York, Brooklyn, Miami, and there's only 2 spots to get out of the play-in. So it's gonna be interesting to see who gets those spots. I think it'll be New York, Brooklyn. I think it'll stay out how it does. And, you know, like Chicago's pretty safe. They're 3.5 games up of the Wizards. So it's safe to say that the 10 teams who are going to make the playoffs are going to make the playoffs. But really only 5 teams miss the playoffs in each conference, considering how many teams they want in the playoffs now. It's kind of crazy. And just to highlight like the West, right? The Bucks lose to the 50-24 Denver Nuggets. Bucks had the best record in all basketball, but the West right now, like we've never seen a playoff like this, a regular season like this. The 11 seed, so the seed that doesn't make the playoffs, and the 4 seed are separated by only 3 games. The 11 to 4 seed, only 3 games. So, I mean, really, anyone like right now the Dallas Mavericks, who are the current 11th seed, could potentially finish. Although unlikely, they could be a 4 or 5 seed. But it's weird to look at. Sacramento's 45-29. They're having their best season in like 2 decades. I think that's like the best story in all of basketball this year. So you love to see that, but really Bucks are safe. Bucks want that you want that 1 or 2 spot, and they're 4.5 games up over Philly. So it's feeling really good right now if you are a Bucks fan. So gotta love what I'm seeing from basketballs on the basketball side. Again, I like their odds to win the games this week that they're gonna win. Again, Boston that back-to-back is a little scary, but feeling pretty good about it. So I wanted to actually move to baseball here. So Brewer prediction challenge, right? It's gonna be here. Well, I say it's gonna be here. Haven't officially released it yet because the games aren't until later this week. Want to get the Bucks one out right away, but for the Brewers side, we can kind of talk about spring training. Spring training last game is tomorrow. And then we already got to go. Cubs got their home opener opening day. Bally Sports, 1:20 on Thursday. So it's getting really, really exciting. We're almost there. But again, like spring training nobody cares about the record, but I think it's always cool to look at. Kansas City actually was the top team in the Cactus League, 19-12. And then Brewers were 11-15. They were the 3rd worst team in the Cactus League. The St. Louis Cardinals 17-7. Atlanta was 17-10, but Miami was 7-16. That ends up being like the worst win percentage out of all teams in spring. Even the Pirates couldn't win in spring, 9-17. Again, spring doesn't matter, but just funny some teams who struggled in regular season struggled in spring. So there's some players who had some really, really hot springs for the Milwaukee Brewers who did in fact land themselves a spot on the opening day roster. So Luke Voigt's nice spring, though, got him a 1-year deal as well. I mean, that was kind of the main one. He finished 12 for 40. I'm sure he's playing tomorrow, though, still, too, but makes the team. Good for him. Some other ones who made the team. Bryce Terang, after batting 286 in spring, He in fact makes the team. 729 OPS. But I mean, a guy with like terrain, it's what he brings to the table, not just with his bat, his glove, his speed, right? I mean, Terrain was the guy you felt was gonna make it. Um, with Justin talking with him, um, we talked about um with Abraham Toro, thinking he was gonna have the spot on the team, but what happened was just struggled, right? 185 average, OPS down to 646. And that was kind of tough to see. Same with Blake Perkins. Honestly, a guy who I thought was going to make some sort of impact. OPS down to under 600, 578. So those were guys who had like really, really rough springs. And yeah, Weimer was the guy we thought were going to make the roster right away. Might not now. Had a decent spring, right? 262 average. 748 OPS. Overall, just had some nice games. But on the pitching side, the big surprise who made it was Gus Varlin, right? I mean, he makes the team. A Rule 5 pick, I believe, from Detroit, or my apologies, from Los Angeles, the Dodgers. Trying to get his spring numbers up. Not sure why they aren't showing up. Interesting, but he had a nice spring. It was the first one. He had 17 strikeouts and 8 and 2/3. So, averaging almost 2 strikeouts an inning. I mean, what Varland did this spring was incredible. And Woodruff's strikeout numbers were insane too. Woodruff kind of got unlucky. His ERA was 4.6, but yeah, his WHIP was 0.8. I mean, it was like, okay. So that was something. Burns' spring was meh. But again, this is spring, small sample size. Do we care really? Not really. It was for a lot of these other guys. But it looks like, right, the Brewers roster, we were trying to like kind of pinpoint who's going to be on what spot or who's going to make the roster, but looks like those bullpen spots that we were kind of like skeptical on who was going to make it. I felt good about Bryce Wilson making it. We felt, but yeah, I mean, it ends up being Gus Varland and probably Javi Guerra. Javi Guerra is the other guy I was pointing to who I think's going to make it. Just with like, it ends up being basically with Ashby not being on, not being ready. I mean, I think if Ashby's on the team, I think Guerra's the guy who's down, to be honest. So the other surprise for me was Owen Miller makes the team. Not like I'm surprised, like he was well deserving, right? Wisconsin native, good story. But in fact, Miller makes the team, and some other guys are going to start down. Not like Weimer. I thought Miller and Weimer was kind of the tough one, but Miller has some major league experience, probably gives him the edge. So exciting to see that though. Mike Brosseau had a nice spring, and then also Brian Anderson had a nice spring. So it does look like we were talking about this last week, even like the odds of Brian Anderson being the guy who's gonna actually play corner outfield now. So he's gonna take that spot where he's gonna take that Tyrone Taylor role, except not play center. Center's gonna stay Garrett Mitchell exclusive this year. It looks like. Just really cool to see him like being big league ready, right? First full season for him. Really looking forward to it. And then Winker's gonna be probably that everyday DH. I'd imagine, for the most part. Tellez might get some days at DH. Yelich gonna get a few days at DH. Contreras on off days, his bat's so good. They're gonna want him to get him in. But it's looking really, really exciting on that note for the Brewers. But look, prediction challenge. I had to get back to it. Just want to highlight like the roster. It's there. So we go to the regular season schedule. We have one game in March 30th, 1:20 at Chicago, the home opener. And then we go They do this. This is my rant about baseball again. They've done this last few years. They do opening day on Thursday, off day Friday, and then they do 2 games. It's like, just do the weekend. Never understood that. And like, all 3 games are 120. And then we get started. Monday is the home opener. And that's against New York, the Mets. I will be there. 110. It's 110, 640, 1240. They're really starting to get away from those 7 to 10 games. I've been really surprised with that. Like, we're only doing 7 to 10 games, like 7, 10 games now on Fridays. So games are going to be shorter. Obviously, we know that. Their games have been shorter. So it's like, okay. An interesting thing that I've seen is now they're making games shorter, but they're also taking away those 7-10 starts on weekdays, except on Fridays. So it's like, okay, games are going to be short. Plus, they're moving them up a little bit. I mean, people, you could imagine, theoretically, 6:40 game time. I mean, on a game that even goes long, the game would be probably done by 9-10. Game that goes long. I think that's pretty incredible. So, or maybe not long, maybe like that's like the average, like the main outcome, like the median outcome, but really, I mean, with that, I mean, I think that's incredible. So, like, I don't think 9:40, like, that's not gonna be like 3-hour games no more. It's gonna be more around that 9-10 ish. And a weeknight, that's not bad at all. So, I think baseball's doing the right thing here. So that's pretty cool to see. Even like the Saturday games, no longer 7-10. All, I mean, those have usually been 6-10, but those are staying 6-10. They've moved. Also, if you've gone to baseball games in years past, you're like, yeah, usually Sundays are the giveaway day, right? Brewers took a whole new approach this year. All Saturday giveaways. So it's like, even April right away, they're trying to get fans. Saturday, April 8th, I'll be at the game. It's a Giannis Antetokounmpo Brewers City basketball, or City Connect basketball jersey. It's a Brewers basketball jersey. I know. And then 22nd, they have a Yelly tumbler. Then they have a Brewers long sleeve hooded shirt. 3 giveaways, 3 Saturdays in the month of April. So just kind of shocking with how they're already doing that. A cool one though, May 27th. I'll just throw this one out here. Christian Yelich patriotic jersey. Pretty cool, right? It's a 3-10 game. That's gonna be a sellout. Wow. Well, I want to highlight the schedule stuff. Opening day of the record prediction. I got the Brewers going 2-1. They'll win the series to start. They'll go 2-1. And I'm hoping. I didn't give a record prediction in the preview last week. I was like 80. I gave a range, but I'll give the actual prediction here. I will say the Brewers are going to go. I'm going to say 88-74. So, that'll be good enough to make the playoffs. But they're not going to probably win the division. This is where I got them. I think St. Louis is going to win the division again. I hope the Brewers win the division. That'd be cool. But, I mean, like, St. Louis has a better team on paper. So, like, it would feel wrong to say they aren't. But, like, the Brewer fan me says, like, anything can happen. It's baseball. Why not? But 88 games. Make the playoffs. But, yeah, baseball season's finally here. We're looking forward to it. And that's the main stuff I had, right? Talk about EWC. Those all-state teams. Talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. And the Milwaukee Brewers. And, yeah, that's going to wrap it up here again at your sports career. All social media platforms. Check it out. And again, I'll be back here tomorrow morning talking some basketball. The DFS slate here on Fantasia Sports. So thank you all here for listening to yet another episode of Drew Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.